If effort worked, everyone would be fit.
Today we fix how to start and we'll give you some tips on the way to go about it.
Because you're not failing, your plan is. So today we're going to go over everything from muscle gain to fat loss, everything in between.
More cardio is not the answer.
But neither is guessing.
So we're going to fix that for you today. Welcome back, everybody. Today, as we said, we are going to talk about getting started on your fitness journey or your beginning of trying to get in shape, lose weight, gain some muscle, be a badass, whatever route you want to go about it. All the things. So, first, how was your workout today? Number one, let's start there.
Not so fantastic.
Why? Talk about it. Let's be real. Let's talk about it. Get it out there.
So first of all, we have recently joined a big box gym. And coming from a small sort of like bodybuilding gym, it's very different because it was slammed. And of course, it's the first of the year. Mm-hmm. So everybody's got a new gym membership and everybody's going to use it, which is fantastic. But that also means that it's really difficult to follow a plan because a lot of times the machines are taken, cables are taken, just general ground space in the gym is taken. So it's like sort of it's like a treasure hunt kind of thing. Just figure out like, what can I do? How can I work this in? Kind of a thing. And I'm also like, because it was my glute day and I've been having some issues. I was talking earlier about activation and like I'm issues with symmetry. And so I've been doing a lot more isolation movements for that, and having that mind muscle connection like on one side is just I'm really struggling. So it was just one of those workouts where you're like, I'm trying to get everything in that I know I need to get in, but it's kind of difficult because there's so much going on. And then the frustration on top of that of trying to get that connection was just like, and I was hungry.
Yeah, once you get hungry, it's over. It's over. Like, you start getting hungry in about 30 minutes, and I'm already knowing that, okay, we have about 10 to 15 minutes left.
I'm hungry when we like roll into
that's
the parking
always
lot. And it's like.
But as far as your connections, is that like your weaker, stronger side connection thing, or is it just a random side every once in a while?
No, it's definitely like my weaker side. I just have problems with like just connecting to it. And so I do, like I said, isolations, which means I'll do, each leg separately. I also do, together or whatever, certain compounds. But, and then I started doing like more reps on my weaker side too. So, just trying to get extra a little bit in there going, but it's frustrating.
Yeah. Do you find that if you're doing a compound of any sort, that like one side will be pumped or one side won't, or you feel like that doesn't hit both sides, your stronger side's taking over?
Stronger side's always taking over.
Always makes up for the weak side, okay. Mm-hmm. So the isolations though, you just have a connection issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What have you been doing to try to fix that though?
I just told you.
Yeah, no, I know that. But is there anything in particular, like, is there any exercises?
When I first start, like, my workout, I'll do like some stretching and some just little quick activations, like glute bridges, and I'll do like independent side glute bridges. So like raise one leg up and then raise the other. And I always start with my weaker side when it comes to doing my movements, and just trying to take my time. And it's all about just foot placements, and like when I'm doing my split squats, like how far out is my foot? Is it too far? Do I need to bring it in? Is it am I kind of like leaning to one side? How's my my hip placement? Am I straight on? Like things like that, where it's like it's just a constant thinking about it to make sure that I'm not just out here like willy-nilly trying to get through the workout. You just really have to focus.
Stick with the purpose the whole time, especially like on the last reps when everything starts getting really hard and heavy and you're burning, like that's when it really, you really got to dial in.
I'm burning in the wrong place. When I'm trying to work out my glutes and my quad hurts.
Yeah.
Just on the one side, the other side is hurting where it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating.
Yeah, especially when you're trying. You've been doing it for a while too, so it's also like for a while you have it and you're doing great, and then all of a sudden something gets imbalanced somewhere and everything changes a little bit. That's the big thing too, is I think people don't realize that you do have to make changes. If you do the same, you'll do the same movements for forever. Yeah. Once you start working out, you will do the same movements forever. They're basic movements. They're just different variations of those movements. And I think as people forget is like you're gonna have to change those up a little bit to fit your body and your life.
Mm-hmm. How was your workout?
It was good. I did shoulders today. Shoulders are always fun for me. I've been trying to grow shoulders and I just can't grow shoulders. I'll never be a man. No, I always trying to get heavier on my pressing and just, I always have to warm up. I really have to warm up because I had bad shoulder issues back in the day, like shoulder injuries, rotator cuff stuff like that. So I've learned that like coming through to where I could never even press due to pain, like I've learned to strengthen them and warm up. And it's number one, I have to do that before I can do anything. Because going, through my workout halfway through, front raises or anything like my left shoulder always starts feeling it before anything. So if you don't take care of the pain and don't warm up, you're not going to be able to go through the heavier weight and actually get the muscle to do what it's supposed to do, because the pain will take you out before the muscle fatigue or the muscle failure. So you really want to get that, that warmed up, lubed up, do whatever, and then you'll have to, some days you'll go in and it'll feel pretty good and you'll start, and then it's just like, a couple presses and it's like, okay, that I can't go as heavy. So you got to, just change it up. Do your variations, do your substitutions or whatever it needs to hit the muscle, because some days if you're having issues or pain, as I've gotten more mature going to the gym and learned, I'm not a young kid anymore, I'd rather just change it that day and then the next day I can work out. If I push through it, I'm going to miss days or injure myself and miss months or weeks. So you just got to make changes like that. So today we are going to talk about what we were saying earlier is advice to help people when they get started. I guess since it's the New Year's, we'll go ahead and there's going to be a lot of new people going through, and they're going to be starting their whole journey, maybe fat loss, muscle building, becoming an athlete, becoming a superhero, whatever they want to do, right? So we got some tips for you. Got some things we want to go over. So what's the first thing, Kate?
The first thing is, I would say, just baby steps, small steps. Start small. You don't want to overwhelm yourself initially, because a lot of times, we get fired up and we're like, yeah, I'm going to join the gym and I'm going to go every single day and I'm going to do all these classes and I'm going to do all this stuff. And then like 3 days in, you're like, no, fuck that. Like, what was I thinking? This is a mistake, or I don't feel like doing this, or this is harder than I thought, and that kind of thing.
I don't have time now. Yeah, that's a big one.
So you really want to make sure that you're, just bite-sized chunks. So if you get a gym membership, that's awesome. Strive to go a couple times a week, and it doesn't have to be for like an hour. It could be for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes if you can, just like start kind of small. Acclimate yourself to the gym, to your new schedule. That's another thing, making sure that this is starting to fit into your schedule. The more that you kind of like are able to get it in, initially, like you'll find like, oh, you know what, I really do have time to go this day too, or at this time too. And so, I think that over time, that starts to compound, and that will really help to kind of become more of a routine and like really enter into a lifestyle other than just like a one-off resolution that you're trying to accomplish, Yeah,
100% also believe that a lot of people think you got to go a lot more than you do.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will be spent the last year, 2 years, 5 years not really going to the gym. Maybe they'll go here and there to try to start. They can't start because, like you said, a lot of people dive in a little too hard. I don't have, my schedule doesn't fit. I don't have time. I'm tired, blah, 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 all that, and all those excuses, right? But if you go 2 times a week for a month and it's more than you've been going, or you take walks, or you do, I always say this, it doesn't have to be the gym. Gym is going to be great for pushing yourself with equipment that'll allow you to get the weight in and the strength and the movements that are properly built for that. But you can do workouts at home, and if you do 2 a week, 3 a week of some full body that's 20, 30 minutes, it's more than you're doing now, so that'll be a very good starting point.
Right.
And you get in, you push yourself, you get yourself a little bit, your heart rate up, you're breathing, you get some stretching in, you do some movements that'll help you progress that you don't normally do throughout the day. Like, those are really big for helping people get progress, and to start there. And then you can get the gym membership. You can go twice a week, and you can do 1 or 2 at home. And you can do the heavier lifting stuff at the gym and the machines at the gym and the stuff that you're learning through the process and the techniques of how to do properly.
Right.
So I think that's a really good way. I think people overlook that. They're just like, I gotta go to the gym 5 days a week, because if I don't go 5 days a week, it's not gonna, it's definitely worth it. If you do, progression works if you're doing more than you have been doing just over time.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And I think it's also really important to point out that a lot of people get fired up about going to the gym because they think, what they see on social media or whatever it is, like, oh, I really just need to work out. But ultimately, they don't enjoy the gym or the gym experience or that type of workout.
That's true.
So it's also really important to think about, like, what is it that you do actually enjoy? Like, maybe you don't like going and lifting weights and you do prefer a class. You know, you'd rather be doing Pilates, or you'd rather be doing like a dance class or Zumba or something, or you'd rather be doing like a CrossFit.
Yep.
You know, so just keep that. You always want to keep an open mind too. So before you go off and join a gym, like get a couple passes and try a couple different things to really find out, like, you know what, I really like this and I'm going to look forward to doing this, because that really helps too. Because if you're like dreading it every single day and you're like, I really don't want to do this,
it's not going to be consistent. You won't. That's a big thing. We do tell clients that. That's a huge thing of like, well, what do you enjoy? We always say, what do you do? Do you have a bike? Do you have dogs? Do you like walking your dogs? Do you just like running? Do you want to go out and take some walks? If you haven't been walking every day or 5 to 6 days a week for the last year, just going out for walks every day after your meals, or 20-minute walks or 30-minute, or hitting 10,000 steps is huge for your body. People don't understand that. And there's a lot of people on the internet that tell you that walking is not exercise, but it is the people that don't do physical activity all the time, and older people or the elderly that need these movements it's a big everyday life to be able to walk around every day and walk a distance. Or a big thing people really don't realize is lay on the floor and get up. Like for elderly people, that's a big thing. Like, because if you fall, you need the strength and the mobility to be able to get yourself up.
Yeah, because we were working with like my mom. She's in her 70s, and we had created a program for her, and it was really just based around her mobility and being able to get it in and out of a chair, and you know, things like that. And obviously we were pushing her as much as she could within her, you know, physical
movements,
within her physicality. But those are the important things. It's like being able to reach for something, or going up and down stairs, and you know, those are ultimately incredibly important. And a lot of the things that we're doing now at our age or even younger are the things that are going to help us be able to continue to do those things when we get older. So.
Yeah, that's huge for women too, for everyone. But I think women really get scared of lifting weights because somewhere someone told them it's a magic thing and it's so easy to lift one weight and you are instantly Arnold Schwarzenegger. They get scared of getting bulky, and as you know, you have to plan on that shit. You really have to work, and you have to plan to get bulky and to get big. But you really need to be strong. You really just need to be strong for your everyday life. Just if you, especially, I always say a big thing to me is if you have kids, especially younger kids, you got to catch them. When Jimmy runs wild and hits terrible twos, you got to catch up with him. You got to make sure you can go out in the street and grab him if he runs out there, or you got to pick him up, put him over your shoulders.
Yeah, and the same thing with like a lot of grandparents want to pick up their grandkids.
Yeah.
And so we've had clients that were grandparents that were like, I want to be able to pick up my grandkids, and so. You know, the things that you do now are really what's going to set that foundation. But so if someone is just now like getting started or like wanting to get started, what kind of workouts do you sort of recommend for beginners or people that are just...
I would always say full body stuff. Like for someone that's doesn't have a very, very particular goal, and they're like, I really want to get in shape, I want to get stronger, like we were just talking about. I'm a little older, I want to be able to move around, I want to be strength. And also strength training helps your bone density and helps you be, you know, less risk of breaking bones or hips or anything like that. So I always say like a full body would be easier, because full bodies you can do, you know, in 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You can go in, you can do some squats, some bench press, some sort of hinging hip thrust or RDLs, you know, some sort of row, and you're good. I think that works great. But that's the number one. You only got to, like I said, if you weren't doing much before, 3 times a week, a full body session, go in, take a day or 2 off, and if you can fit some walking or some cardio within that, so you're hitting 4 to 5 days of activity a week with 2 good rest days, it's going to be perfect for a starter. You just have to remember, when you're starting, you are starting. Like, people think you're going to just go in here and you're going to be badass, and you're not. You're starting. So when you begin anything, you usually suck at it. So just go ahead and embrace the suck. Embrace the suck and have but the cool part about the suck is you're starting. So now there is a plethora of information, of goals you can hit, of improvements you can make, of progressions you can do, and on the other side of that is this person that that you have a possibility of becoming,
right?
Or these things that you can achieve, and it's really cool. But I would always say full bodies are starting, and then once you get to a point where you're like, okay, I've made it my first or second or third weight loss goal, strength goal, mobility goal, I see it that I would like this, or I would like to look like this, or this is a part I would like to improve upon, or this movement. Then you start getting specifics of everything. And then you're like, oh, I want big shoulders. Then, okay, then we got to hit shoulders more and these movements, and we want to hit all 3 delts, and you want to hit from these angles and that kind of stuff. And you want to be very particular about your movements more, or you can just do the same thing. I want to improve in my strength. Okay, if you want to do that, then you should be moving this progression with these percentages of weight and these reps and all the nice stuff. Like that's how that should go. But that's a great question, because a lot of people, and especially if you're going to hire a coach, and a lot of people online, they're going to tell you that you need this really crazy workout plan because they're trying to make themselves feel like they know some shit. Honestly, that's true. Like, I think a lot of people do that. I think I did that a little bit more when I was first starting. I think it wasn't so much of like an intentional thing. It was just like, oh, this workout, this exercise is really cool. I like this exercise where you lay on the bench with the cables on your fly and you do all this. And a lot of people starting don't even know how to use the cable thing. Right. They're not going to drag a bench from across the gym and bring it over and set it up and get wrist hook things, straps, and lay down there. No, you know what you need to do? Grab some dumbbells and do some flyings. Yeah. Like you probably haven't even lifted anything except for the groceries like that in 5 years.
Yeah, I always think like the simple is definitely the way to go. Like we were talking about this morning, and I was like, I would definitely recommend machines. Because it's already set up for you. I mean, you just kind of have to adjust the seat a little bit, make a couple of adjustments, but for the most part, like the motion's already set for you. And so for you to be able to just get acclimated to the movement and really gives you more of an opportunity to feel the muscles that you're supposed to be working, rather than trying to figure out if you're in the right position or you set something up correctly, or that kind of thing. And then it's more about, okay, I'm going to play with the weights. I'm going to see how this feels. And then, it builds up your confidence so that you can go, and grab a bench from across the gym and like drag it in front of everybody. Because nobody likes to do that.
As long as I've been doing this and I know the actual benefits of it, I don't do that shit. It's too much time. I have about an hour, and I don't have an hour I don't have a bench. I know if I have a gym that is very empty and there's 7-8 benches that are free and no one's touching them, probably I would go grab a bench and go over there. But I'm in the middle of workout. You know what? I want to get over here and do it, and I'm doing these things and that because I don't have that particular, at the moment, that's not my particular goal, to be doing these perfectly lined things, which I've done before, and they work great. They do work great. There's isolations where your body doesn't get any movement. They're the way to go. Same thing with I was telling you about, like kickbacks is the same thing. Use a bench, get your legs so you don't have to balance, and you don't have to, all those are more beneficial. But in the long run, are they really going to drive home that much more like benefit and results? If that's your really goal, if that's your goal, is you really, really have to do that, you only one thing, yes, you should probably do that. But other than that, just go, keep it simple. And I think that's the best thing. But
right. And like as far as like tracking everything goes, I mean, tracking your workouts and like being able to see your progress as you go, things like that are, really great, because you get to see like how much stronger you've gotten, or like how many more reps can I get in, or oh my gosh, I've done extra sets, or like I'm really pushing my weight now. I can't believe when I started I was here and now I'm here. That kind of stuff really gives you a lot of confidence to keep going too, and kind of that extra little bit of motivation, which I think is really fantastic. Because when you first start out and you're like, I'm so weak, or I can't do that, I can't lift that, and you maybe try something and it's too heavy, it's too much, and then you come back later and try it again. Like I've had that happen so many times where it's like, I can't even lift this bar, and now like I can lift the bar plus weight, what I mean? And it's like, wow, I really am getting stronger. There really is, those signs of it that are really, really fun. Aside from like, just I look in the mirror and I can see the changes.
Yeah,
like that kind of thing. That's always great. That's always motivating. But there's that extra little bit of element to like,
proof.
I can carry my own groceries, and you won't let me, but I can carry my own groceries all in one take. Up, we used to live up 3 flights of stairs, and I could do it.
Yeah, which is good. You should. Every person should be strong enough to be able to handle their own. Is how I would say it. But you shouldn't have to. Also, you know what I mean. But like you were just saying, is tracking everything is great, and I like it because it does what you're saying, but it also puts you in a place once you get going. Like, say you're 3 weeks in, you just started. You're 3 weeks in. When you go to it, you may not remember the weight that you used before. And this was a big one with clients for me, because when we would train with someone, and I've seen them lift some weight, and I would track it, and then the next week they'd put the thing in, and it would be 10, 20 pounds lighter. And now you're not pushing yourself anymore. There are some nuances in there that will allow you to be, a little lower, but for the most part, when that previous weight you did should be your working weight, unless it's a PR. You should try that no matter what. So that previous weight, you should get the good one, then you should go there again. If you don't get the reps, cool, you don't get the reps, but you should always go there. And what you'll see eventually if you follow it is that your previous weight will eventually become your working weight, and then it keeps doing this. Yeah. And it slowly keeps, and there's weeks though, we always say progress is not linear. So it doesn't always do this. It goes like this and then down some days.
Yeah,
and it's
you
like
go
this.
in sometimes and you're like, oh my God, I'm so fucking weak.
And you felt good about your day. That's what always gets me. It's usually the days where I'm like, I'm fired, the headphones are on, I'm ready to go, I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Yeah, and then the days when you're like,
I don't want to be here.
Don't want to be here. I hate the gym. This sucks. Why am I here? Like, you can
kill it some days. Yeah, some days. But also that, and with all the tracking, remember that the progress is over perfection. So you want to progress will get you more. Progressing will get you more benefits than focusing on the perfect everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like
100%.
You don't want to be so worried about every single time. If I don't feel this muscle every time, it's not worth it. Hey, when you start struggling the last 2 or 3 reps, you're going to lose a little of that connection. You're going to have to muscle through that shit, and you're going to have to go. I'm not saying you want to kill yourself, but there are times where if you're under some weight you've never done before, squat, bench press, something like that a little bit, there's times where you're like, I don't want to die. I'm going to keep in my mind, I want to keep the form best, but I don't want to die. So you have to just push through it and get through it. And I think those are the benefits.
Safety first.
Yeah, it's all safety. Disclaimer is here.
Keep your safety bar.
Safety.
Just in case.
Safety first. Yeah, always use the safety.
Insert the video of you failing doing squats.
Yeah, I failed a lot during squats. It's and that's another thing too. I think this is not much beginner stuff, and you should not go beyond. Little tip for beginners too. Don't try to stay in the 1 to 3 rep range. That's a little too heavy at the beginner stage. You don't want to be lifting something you can only lift once. And you shouldn't be lifting something you can only lift 3 reps. Stay in the 6 to 8 to 10 unless you're absolutely going for strength. Do you agree with that or no?
Well, I agree with that every time.
Yeah. But there's a lot of times where, especially in younger people and, men that haven't worked out, you used to play football and haven't worked out in a while, you want to see how strong you are, you get in there, and it's a good way to hurt yourself. Are we talking about
someone in particular there?
Me, probably. But no, it's not. Nobody real. But no, there's a lot of people that do that. And I've gotten stronger doing 1 to 3 reps, because sometimes just feeling how much weight you're under or how much it feels is really beneficial. If safety first and have someone to spot you, which he's always spots me. But it helps.
It does. It really does. So I know for a lot of people, when they come to us, when they're just getting started, they always have this very they want to lose weight and they want to build muscle all at the same time. And there's so much information out there that basically says, no, you can't do both. It's either one or the other, really. You're either in a deficit and you're losing, or you're in a surplus and you're building. Mm-hmm. So do you think that that's true?
I think studies have shown that in your first year or 2, you can do both. But after that, if you're working out, your body kind of adapts, and it's going to be almost impossible. Now, with that being said, before someone comments, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, da-da-da. Yeah, there are some situations where people can really dive in, you know what I'm talking about? And they can just put on some mass muscle and be lean. But realistically, from the majority of everybody, it's not an actual genetic god. Yeah, it's going to be really hard. So at the beginning, if you're just starting, take advantage of that first year or 2. Really, get in there. You can change your body and you can recomp your body so much in 6 months to a year. You really can. If you focus, but everything's got to be on point. Mm-hmm. Just going to the gym and still eating the way you were is not going to do it. Just changing your diet and not going to the gym is not going to do it. It's all got to be everything. Your sleep has to be on. Everything has to be on point. Right. So I agree that you can do it, but I think it's very few people can do that. Other than that, you're going to have to really choose. I want to lose some weight. You're still going to do your strength training. Let's get that straight. Your strength training will always be there. And your strength training does not change depending on your weight goals. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people think training for weight loss and muscle growth is a little different, and it's not technically that much different. You still need to keep your strength. When you're losing weight, you definitely want to keep your muscle, retain it. So you still need to put them under that tension to make sure they're still trying to grow as much as they can, even if they don't have the real building blocks to grow at the time, but there's still needs dress.
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So,
You want to make sure that you're keeping everything while you're, losing fat
yes.
in the process.
Yes. You also lose strength.
Yes.
But you can't. But this is getting a little too deep with the beginner stuff. So
Yeah.
So
But it is possible when you're first starting
Yep.
to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. But you do have a bit of a window there if you're a beginner.
Yeah.
But eventually it's kind of like, okay, so once you're out of that, then you really kind of take a look at yourself and assess like, okay, what's my priority going forward? Like, what do I really want to focus on? Do I want to focus on just continuing to lose the body fat, or do I maybe want to put on some more muscle here? And then you can kind of get a little bit more focused in.
What do you think? Have you seen with anything? It's like, do you think there's a good maintenance, a good build, a good way to do that? Have you learned anything about that? Have you seen with yourself anything? It's like,
well, I mean, when I first really started consistently working out, I was doing it for show.
Mm-hmm.
So that first 6 months, I was on point with everything.
Yeah.
So my nutrition and everything, and I didn't put on any weight as far as the scale.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it was like I maintained my body weight the entire 6 months. So because a lot of people are like, oh, you're gonna have to bulk up. You were like, you're gonna have to bulk up. You're gonna have to eat all the food, and I was eating all the food. But yeah, with the regiment that I was doing with the workouts and the cardio and everything,
which was very, very light cardio.
It just kind of stayed the same. The same thing with my second one. So a year later, when I did it again, I didn't have any cardio at all that whole show.
Yeah.
And I think I actually did put on about 5 or 6 pounds, and then dropped, I think 8. It was around 8 or 9 by show day. And without doing any cardio, that was all nutrition.
Yeah.
But my training, I was training 6 days a week for an hour to an hour and a half. And again, no cardio or anything other than my warm up on the treadmill. So, it is possible to do that. And I was able to do that. But I think that was because I was just starting. So now, 5 years later or whatever, it's definitely not the same, but my nutrition isn't always on point.
Yeah, that's
and I'm not getting the protein in that I was
everything.
getting before, but I am doing, we take our walks and I do, cardio here and there, strength train, for 5 days a week, whatever it is. So it's not as intense, but, it's, and then, seeing our competition client, when she's going through her, her sort of deficit getting into show, and she would lose strength, and she would get so frustrated, and she'd just be like, I could have done more. And it's like, no, you couldn't. And it's fine. You are not as strong as you were when you were in the thick of your bulk. Here we are, we're cutting, we're getting close to show, you're going to be depleted.
15, 20 pounds difference.
Yeah. So it's to be expected, but that's not to say that you shouldn't still be pushing yourself.
Yeah.
Because
we always push
it's still
yourself,
effective. It's still working. But.
Yeah, you should always push yourself. You can't benefit more from anything else than pushing yourself. Mm-hmm. Those last 2 or 3 reps of everything are always going to be the most beneficial. Those are actually, I think, proven to grow the most, have the most hypertrophy and most results, and release the most hormones and everything in your body. So that's a good way to do it. But also, nutrition, what you were just saying about that, nutrition is I always say, the pinnacle of everything. You can do the same exact thing every day, same workouts, do the same intensity, everything, but if you change your nutrition, your entire body will change.
Yeah.
That's massive. Nutrition, also with fat loss, eating more, now I hate saying this because some people run with this shit, but eating higher protein, that's what I'll say, a little cleaner and higher protein food will actually really, really help your fat loss. Mm-hmm. It'll also help your muscle retention, your muscle growth, and all those. And we all have abs, we all have muscle to some extent. There's just fat over top of them. So instead of being someone that wants to lose weight and get in shape, don't go in and just start doing random ass ab workouts and cutting all your food. It'll show once your fat comes off. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to say?
Yeah, well, they say the abs are made in the kitchen. And it's true to an extent, because what you eat is essentially going to be the determining factor whether or not you're going to actually see the abs.
Yeah, so if they're shown in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Abs are shown in the kitchen. They're destroyed in the gym and rebuilt while you sleep. So,
That's pretty much how everything sort of
yeah,
goes.
all the muscles work that way. Just keep it super simple. This is kind of touching on the very beginning. The nutrition, the same thing. Keep it super simple. Don't go out and buy a bunch of random ingredients to make a 36 ingredient meal and think that's how you're going to. It goes back to the same thing you were talking about the workouts. Just keep it simple. So even as you're just starting, you definitely have to be on point with this stuff. So what would be your first thing with nutrition and recovery?
Nutrition, definitely want to prioritize protein.
Yep, always.
Because a lot of us don't get enough protein in our diet. We have a tendency to go towards like snack foods, like chips or crackers or, anything like that. So a lot of foods that we actually already enjoy, maybe like some yogurt, that kind of thing, if you make the right decisions, can make a huge impact because there are some out there that have actually quite a bit of protein in them. So, you just want to check your labels and try to maybe start switching out foods that maybe aren't the best choice with something that might be a little bit healthier, getting, I shouldn't have this because I really need to get a little bit more protein in, so I'm going to get my protein in. And then if I'm still hungry, maybe I'll have that. And you'll find that over time, it really starts to kind of switch out. So you don't even have to really think about it. And I think that's a much easier way than just trying to cut everything out of your diet that you love and try to bring in those healthier foods. So definitely prioritize your protein. And sleeping. Sleeping is so important. Getting your sleep. Making sure that you're getting your at least 7. I would say 7. If you can, 8 hours of sleep. 9. Weekends, if you can really
sleep it in. Yeah, and as we get older, I don't feel like we give ourselves enough leeway to sleep. Especially people that are busy, that have kids and all that. It's really hard just to find time to sleep, and you've been there, you know how it is. But going to bed early is something you got to start doing forcefully first, because we go to bed early now. Like we go to bed at 7, 8 o'clock. I also wake up at 4 every morning, but you go to 7. But you put that in. Once you start doing that, you get it in. It's like, oh man, it's bedtime, because nothing good happens after midnight, they say, right? And we've been there. So it's going to bed, keeps you out of trouble. It also is something very simple people don't realize. Go to bed earlier, sleep a little longer. Takes 2 or 3 hours out of your window of eating. People don't realize that. Your late night snacks, they can't happen. Just random stuff that you would consume or forget about doesn't happen. So that, and just for a good, easy reference, what was it like? We always say 1 pound of body weight equals 1 gram of protein. That can be a little high, especially for people, but that's just a go. If you can't hit that much, like 1.7 pounds or something, there's a formula. But try to get the best clean protein you can. If you're out and about, try to get the protein shake or the protein snack or something, but don't rely on those. Those are not the cleanest. They also, some of the stuff that says high protein is actually just a candy bar that they put high protein on the label. Because a Snickers and a high protein Snickers, there's not much difference or anything like that. You see what I'm saying? So definitely just try to make a little bit smarter choices. Try to eat more clean, 1 ingredient foods always. And try to get your meats. I'm a big fan of meats. Try to get your meats and your eggs and your good stuff to get your protein in. That's your body's going to have way better with its micronutrients and your vitamins and minerals also that you don't get from the protein shake that you need in everyday life.
But I think that people also have this misconception that the more that they're working out or the more they're training or the harder they're going, that's what's going to make a huge difference as far as like building your muscle and your fat loss and everything. And it's kind of like, well, you build your muscle while you're recovering.
Yes.
So while you're in the gym, you're breaking everything down so that it can come back together when you're recovering. So you're, while you're sleeping or you're taking your rest days, and you got to make sure that you're actually getting those in. And
very important.
They are incredibly important.
Very important. With that said, though, don't be someone that says, I've worked out one day, I did pretty hard, I need 3 rest days. Like, you got to be honest with yourself, and you got to listen to your body, as you said. You have to listen to your body. You got to know, because you work out really hard and you're sore, you may not need to work out that body part, but you can still get another body part in, 2 to 3 days off, good rest days are great. You got to get your sleep in, like you said. Work hard, tears the muscle apart, eat the food, gives you the building blocks. Sleeping puts the building blocks in to make them bigger, to repair it.
It really does all work together. It's a really beautiful cycle.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. With that being said, too, it's just like, if your body part is sore, you probably shouldn't work it out again. Yeah. You should wait till it heals completely. A lot of people with your legs, when you're just starting, if your legs will get sore when you first start, give them time to heal. Give them time to heal completely. Make sure they're not sore. and then you can go stretch them, and then you should work them out again after that. But if their legs are sore and 2 days later they're really sore and you go work them out again, they haven't had time to rebuild themselves and just recover. So you want to make sure you give them that amount of time to do that. You have plenty of other body parts you can work out.
Yeah.
Women out there, you don't need 6 leg days and 3 booty days. You 2. Mm-hmm.
All right, and then as far as things like, supplements and that kind of thing, I feel like there's so much out there on the market. We get really overwhelmed thinking, oh, I need colostrum and I need all these greens and I need this, that, and the other. Always start with your doctor and getting your blood work done first, because that will tell you if you need any supplements. So don't just start taking over-the-counter willy-nilly because you heard somewhere that you were supposed to be taking XYZ. You want to make sure that your body actually needs it, because if it doesn't need it, then you're wasting your money.
100%, and it's a $1 billion industry, so there's a lot of reasons for people to sell you shit you don't need.
Yeah. So what are your last and sort of final thoughts here for everyone that's watching, that's just like gung-ho and ready to like get started, or maybe a little apprehensive, or maybe just like absolutely not, or hands-on?
Oh, I always say just start. Just start is the biggest thing you can do in your entire life, if anything. You may not know, you don't need to know, just start. Just start walking, go to the gym, start moving some shit around, figure it out, research it, research your nutrition, try to do better. That's it. Just be conscious of trying to do better. Because there are a lot of times when I started, we talked about this on the way here, I started and it was a slow process and it sucked. I did not be like one day at home and I was like, I want to go to the gym. No, I needed to lose weight. So, it really sucked getting off my ass and going walking and then getting in a run and then going to the gym and slowly, I don't think I can lift this weight. I wonder how I do this. I look like an idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what this machine is. I'm over here doing leg presses on a lat pull down machine. You know what I mean? You don't know. You don't know at first. And you just got to research and you figure it out and you look at other people. Hopefully don't pick the one random dude that's over here just doing random shit on a machine, and don't go by him. That's using the wrong machine.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, they're using the wrong machine.
There's always that guy.
There's always that one dude. But just figure out best you can. Try, see what it does. Some things... Sometimes the person that is not at the mercy of the rules learns how to do something awesome. I think a lot of times the new people, like as people have been doing this for, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15 years, you've seen all these things, you're in this realm, and then somebody new can come in with a brand new, fresh look and be like, this idea works better. So, try some shit. Mm-hmm. Try some shit. That's what I got. Like, just start. What about you?
Just start. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just start. Try a few different things and see which one works best for you, which one you enjoy the most. Because really what it comes down to is whether or not you enjoy it, because if you don't, you're not going to stick with it. And the idea is to just create, this wonderful foundation that you're going to be able to carry with you through hopefully your entire life.
Yep. You should make it should now be a lifestyle. Not that you're a gym bro or you're a gym chick or you're any of that. It should just be a part of your life that's like brushing your teeth. You need to go do it. You wouldn't stop brushing your teeth. I hate, why I enjoy brushing my teeth, I don't. It's something I have to do. So I got to go to the gym and do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also consistency always beats the intensity. If you go in and work hard, but you don't do it consistently, it's not going to matter. So you're consistently over time will definitely be the best thing you can get.
Absolutely.
That will change everything. If you could say one thing to yourself when you very first started, what would you be able to tell them?
Oh my God, I'd be like, just keep doing it. Just keep going. Just keep going. It might feel awful right now and you might absolutely dread going, but if you keep going, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. What would you say?
I will say you will be another person on the other side of this.
Oh, that's so profound.
That is
All
a little
right.
too deep. It's way too deep for this talk. But
way too deep for
way
this.
too-
On that note.
On that note, thank you for watching.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you in our next video, guys.